grade, and then in a few more weeks into the 3rd grade, it got her among her own age level, and she was the same size, and she couldn't speak a word of English, but she learned English in class.
Your mother?
My mother, very fast. She learned English in school.
But what did she speak around the house when you were growing up?
Around the house, she didn't talk too much to us because she was busy cleaning and doing housework.
Oh, come on. Did she ever speak Russian or Yiddish?
Yeah, no, she spoke English to us.
Then how do you know?
That's all we knew from school.
But how
was
did-
English.
But how did you learn Yiddish?
I learned it from my grandparents,
Oh, really?
which was a form of German from 300 years ago.
When
German
did-
Russians. Right.
When did your grandparents come over? After?
Yeah, my grandparents, they came, I think, before my parents.
Before?
Yeah, they were young then.
Oh, they came taking your parents when they were kids. The whole family came.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why you lived with your grandparents, because they moved back in with your parents when they had children to help take care of the kids.
Yeah, they lived nearby, and they helped.
What was Bubby Shore like?
She was an old lady with white hair.
Who was this?
My great-grandmother. I met her.
Yeah.
If I woke up in the middle of the night, she was awake to help me because everybody in the house was asleep when she visited. And she visited.
Yeah, she was very alert during the night.
Alert during.
I guess.
That's funny.
She found crackers to give me, saying it would help me sleep.
That is funny. So your mother was always cleaning?
No, she wasn't complaining.
No, cleaning.
Oh, cleaning. Well, she had no help. And she was either shopping and cooking or cleaning and ironing and washing.
What about your father?
All the washing.
What about Eli?
My father went to work.
What did he do?
He ran his own business. He didn't believe in working for anyone else. He wanted to be his own boss.
And what kind of work did he do?
Well, he opened up his own little factory of making
Upholstery?
upholstery, right?
Wow.
And he was an upholsterer.
So what did he always...
He worked for 1 week for an upholsterer, learned upholstery, learned the tools, and then went into business for himself.
And what did he always have in his mouth when he worked?
When his mouth?
The nails for upholstery.
He had nails.
He had
He
nails.
put the nails in his mouth, and then he took them out when he worked and put them in the chairs or the sofas.
Because that's how the fabric was attached. It wasn't glued, it was nailed in.
So that was, during that time, that was a great trade,
Yeah,
because one of my grandma's brothers, he was a tailor in the New York area and in high demand. Being a tailor,
Oh.
and a good one.
yeah. And he didn't speak English.
Oh, he didn't.
He didn't.
I think she's asking you.
They have certain skills already, and they could put them right to work and get
Yes.
a job
Yes.
without knowing English. They learned English as they worked.
Yes. That's fascinating. Did you have a good childhood? Do you think it was a happy childhood?
Well, I played in the sidewalks, out in the street. We didn't have, playgrounds, and all the kids played on the sidewalks. So if I went out, I had playmates.
And when you were in high school, did you take a canoe trip?
Can I take what?
Did you take a canoe trip?
No.
When you were in high school, did you start the all-round athletic girls club?
Yeah, that's right. I started the all-round athletic girls, and we used to go out, and it was a club. And we used to go out every week after school to do sports, girls' basketball.
Wow.
And we went from area to area in the city of Boston to other high schools, and we played against their teams, and we won.
What position did you play?
We all played every position.
Okay, basketball is a little bit different, okay.
Basketball, because if anyone was absent, we had a substitute.
Were you a good shooter?
I shot for the basket. Yeah, I used to practice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So do you think your mother and father had time to raise a family? Because life was pretty busy,
Well, my mother didn't work
but she did in the house.
in the house.
Didn't she write a column, a newspaper column?
Yeah, she was a writer. She wrote a column for the newspaper,
Boston Globe.
the local newspaper, for every week. It came out once a week.
Do you remember the name of it?
The Dorchester Record.
Oh, do you remember the name of the column? Was it A Woman's View?
A Woman's View. Yeah,
It's amazing I can remember.
A Woman's View. And she wrote the column and they printed it. She mailed it into them. And they printed it just the way it was every week.
And what would that article be about?
She wrote about local news. And she would get all her news from the people around her who lived there. And everything new that happened, she was aware of and put into her article. And because it was a newsworthy article, the paper published it every week.
Wow.
I have some news articles that my mother wrote in the last 10 years that got published.
Wow.
Yeah, but she never got paid for it.
She didn't.
She didn't get paid for her article.
She should have.
Yeah, it was worth money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. She mailed it in, and they didn't offer her pay. They just took it and printed it.
I think she should have been compensated.
Yes, she really should have. And I've saved those newspapers and articles. I still have them.
That's amazing.
Yeah. She came to this country when she was 10, and she learned English within the first 3 months.
Oh, she was young then, a young girl. So
10 years old.
you learn a lot easier when you're young.
Yeah, 10 years old.
And then your father came from Russia.
Yeah, he came.
Why did he leave Russia?
Well, his parents left Russia.
Okay.
He was 18.
17.
No,
I thought he was 17.
If he was 17, he was turning 18 pretty soon. And he said he was 18.
Maybe he was 18. And when he met Grandma, when he met Sadie, Sonia,
Yeah,
maybe she was 17. And that's,
maybe.
and how did they meet?
Well, That was a good question. She went to a meeting at night. And for, they were having meetings because they were learning English. And all the immigrants met with each other and spoke to each other. So she sat down on the aisle, an aisle seat. And when he came down the aisle, he got in, he looked at her and he pinched her arm. He couldn't resist pinching her because,
This was your parents?
yeah,
He
my
pinched
father.
her? Why did he pinch her?
He pinched her because he felt like it.
He felt like it, by golly. And that led to something?
And she looked at him.
She looked at him.
And she said, "Oh, that hurts." But she looked at him. And then when the evening ended, he picked her up and walked her home.
Oh my.
So what about the library story where he started a conversation with her because of a book she was taking out of the library?
Yeah, there was more. That was. She went to the library, and she was always taking out English books because she could read English. Because she came to this country, she was only 10. So now she was, let's say, 15, and she was reading library books in addition to her schoolwork.
So how old was she when she got married to your father?
And she was 21.
21.
And he was 26. He was, no, he was 4 years old. So he was 25.
And then how many children did they have, and where are you in that line?
Well, they had 3 children, and I'm the middle one. I had a younger brother and an older brother, and I was in the middle.
You were in the middle.
Yeah.
And she's outlasted all of them.
Yeah,
Wow.
she did.
You did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
She started eating healthy. And it was very, very, when I grew up, the things you served, what kind of cookies did you make behind our backs?
Oh, my mother used to do her own baking. They didn't have bakeries then like they have now. A pound of this or a pound of that. You did your own cookies or your own cake.
What did you put in our cookies?
So she used to make cookies, and I would get one.
If you made cookies for us,
Yeah.
what did you put in the cookies?
Well, the recipe was the same as my mother's.
You didn't
recipe.
put carrots in?
Carrots.
Carrots in cookies?
Grated cooked carrots. In
Where you're
carrot
sneaking those
cookies.
vegetables in then?
Yeah,
Sneaking them in there.
yeah. They were very nutritious.
So you really got into a health, you were
My mother was a health nut.
a health nut?
Yeah.
She inherited it.
So now you're a health nut.
Yeah,
So everything had to be kind of fresh produce and
yeah,
not a lot of
Healthy.
French fries.
yeah. Everything
Zero.
was healthy. She used to read what to do in the local newspaper, and she subscribed to the Boston Globe and read it. It got it Monday through Friday.
And how about exercise? Did you exercise?
Well, I walked to school. That took 20 minutes. That was my exercise. And the gym. We had gym, and I was a member of of the basketball team, which traveled throughout Boston to every high school to try to beat them, the girls' basketball. And we couldn't beat them in South Boston. South Boston, the girls were shorter than we were. They didn't grow
They didn't grow
as tall as we
Yeah.
were. But they beat us in basketball. We couldn't win with them.
So they were short but quick.
Yeah, they could run fast.
I've noticed people like that on those basketball teams.
Yeah.
You don't have to be tall, but quick,
Quick, yeah,
quick. Well,
right,
that's fascinating.
yeah.
Wow.
So we traveled around Boston while we were in high school. It's a small city than New York. So we could travel to wherever we were going, which high school we went to, so we could play basketball with them and beat them.
You were competitive.
Yeah,
You're a competitive person?
very competitive.
Very competitive.
Yeah, we had to win because we were representing our high school.
You go. I can just see you being a cheerleader for your team.
Right,
Yeah, if you're gonna play, you gotta win. You
right,
gotta try to win.
yeah. So that one day after school, we went to play basketball, and each time to a different high school. We made, the teachers made the appointment. There was a teacher in charge of us.
Did you ever go back to Poland, to where your mother was born, to see?
No, I was never in Poland.
Never went back.
Yeah, my father was born there. But was I in Russia? I don't think so.
You were in Russia. Yeah, you went on the doctor's tour to Russia with Daddy.
Yeah, I was in Russia, right. But I wasn't down in the south of Russia where they were. I was like in the middle. But it was Russia, and they all spoke Russian, and I didn't know any Russian.
Yes, you do. You know one sentence.
Yeah, one sentence. Я хочу стакан чай. What do I speak? What language do I speak? Russian.
Wow. Fascinating.
But I don't know any Russian. I was lucky enough to know English.
Let's do one more, then we'll have to, because Ted's here now.
What do you
Let's do one more. That's fascinating. You missed the whole afternoon, Ted.
Couldn't help it, I had company.
I know. Let me see if I can find it.